Alright, Shalom. First and foremost, I would like to give all praise and glory unto Yahawah Bahashem, YAHAWASHI Bahashem, Rakakwadash, and double honors unto the apostles and the elders of GMS who rule well, teach well, being great examples to his younger brothers, and peace and blessings and salutation to the hopeful elect out there pushing his word and truth and in sincerity across the four winds in the name of Yahawah Bahashem, YAHAWASHI Bahashem, Rakakwadash, pushing to get up out of here. Shalom to the hopeful elect, the believers, the listeners whom have came back to the obedience of the scriptures through faith in YAHAWASHI. And what I want to go into is a lesson entitled, Why Not Be Elite? You know, just posing the question, okay, why not be elite? Now, when you go into this word elite, okay, we use it a lot describing, you know, the elite of Esau, Edom, you know, which is Amalek, the elite banking families. Okay, but amongst Israel, you know, the elect, and of the elect you have the first fruits, the 144,000, you know, who were chosen to be elite. Okay, and with that comes grave responsibility, you know, not just the perks, you know, that come with being, you know, of the upper rank, but there's a responsibility that comes with being that upper rank. Okay, and we're going to go into elite in what, you know, because when you go into the word elite, it says a select group that is superior in terms of ability or qualities to the rest of a group or society. Okay, and you have the nation of Israel, which is the elite nation, okay, by nature, you know, the sons of God, the daughters of Zion, okay, we're elite by nature because, you know, we're their chosen seed, okay, and then you have amongst Israel, you have the elect, you know, the 1/3. And then of the 1/3, you have the first fruits, okay, which are superior, you know, to all Israel. That's why Yahawashi told, you know, the disciples, you know, you've given up. And that's another thing, too. That's why Yahawashi requires more sacrifice from those, all right, potential first fruit spirits than everyone else. That's why they're asked to give up so much on this side, okay, because they have a responsibility that's bigger than everyone else. Yeah, they have a rank, they're superior, okay, but they also have a responsibility and the sacrifice that's greater than everyone else as well. And that's what we got to embrace more than just, you know, status, you know, a clout or rank, or no, the responsibility and the sacrifice aspect of it, the discipline. Those are the things that we're called to be elite in right now, you know, before we come into those high offices as joint heirs with Yahawashi. Okay, so read this definition again, and it reminds me of a definition in Revelation 14. It says elite, a select group that is superior in terms of ability or qualities to the rest of a group or society. Okay, now when you go into the book of Revelation, all right, the book of Revelation, chapter 14, and just getting straight to the point, Revelation 14, and matter of fact, I read into it, Revelation 14:1, it says, And I looked, and lo, a lamb stood on the Mount Zion, and with him 144,000 having his father's name and the name of the Son written in their foreheads. Okay, which means that those men, you know, will have a reverence for those names. All right, they will, you know, teach in those names. Okay, those 144,000, they will come in an authority, okay, of Yahweh and his son Yahawashi. Okay, those names will be seared in those men. You see, so by default, if someone's not teaching in those names, there's no way they can be part, okay, of their group, man. Okay, their superior class. Okay, it says, and I heard a voice from heaven as a voice of many waters, and as the voice of great thunder, and I heard the voice of the harpers harping with their harps, and they sung as it were a new song before the throne and before the four beasts and the elders, and no man could learn the song but the 144,000 which were redeemed from the earth. Okay, so when it comes to understanding this doctrine perfectly, man, okay, there's only a remnant, and of that remnant you have the first fruits who've been tasked with teaching this word. you know, and collectively they have this song perfected, 100% truth, you know, singing the whole song, okay? That perfect song that's leading to salvation, which is the doctrine, man, okay? We have the true understanding of the Bible, okay? The breakdown of YAHAWASHI, the breakdown of prophecies, man. You see the parables going into this thing, singing this new song, you know, and those men are responsible for singing that new song, and that's a heavy responsibility, man. You know, that's why we got to be elite when it comes to what? Getting into this word. You know, we should be elite when it comes to that. You look at our apostles and elders, they leave an elite, they set an elite example of how we should be in these scriptures, man. How we should be in this word, how we should be scholarly concerning the Bible, man. You know, concerning other topics, man, that, you know, complement the Bible. You know, I was listening to the elders in Dallas. All right, and then you had Elder Apostle Ariamla, and they was getting down in their history, man. You know, going to the Hasmonean dynasty, and you know, Antipater, Herod, the Herodian dynasty, and them brothers was getting down, man. You know, Elder Yashawamba, all right, Elder Apostle Ariamla, they was getting down, man. And our elders and our elder apostles, beginning with Elder Apostle Tahar, okay, Elder Apostle Gabar, heavy on the words, okay, Elder Apostle Rakat, okay, which is heavy on the prayer, because you got to be elite in praying, you know, and he'll get down in their history, man. You know, you see, he done been on some history rants and, you know, going into, you know, other things, but ultimately, they set the standard for us to be elite in these scriptures, man. There's nothing mediocre about those men when it comes to the scriptures, man. And they don't do it from the sake of boasting. They do it for the sake of being thorough, man, for the sake of serving and feeding the sheep. Okay? Revelation 4 says, these are they which were not defiled with women, which is other doctrines, for they are virgins. These are they which follow the Lamb whithersoever he goeth. These were redeemed from among men, being the first fruits unto the Most High and to the Lamb, and in their mouth was found no guile, for they were without fault before the throne of the Most High. Now you go into first fruits. Speaking of these 144,000, okay, once you go into this word first fruits, all right, which that Greek word
536, aparche.
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 All right. Now, when you go into it, definition 3, it says persons superior in excellence to others in the same class. Persons superior and excellent to others of the same class. Now, when you go into that word elite, it's the word elite. Elite, a select group that is superior in terms of ability and qualities to the rest of the group of society. Okay? And when you go into that, those first fruits are superior, which means they was given much. But what do the scriptures say? To whom much is given, much is required, man. So that's why when you go into the first fruit, there's a level, there's an elite level of discipline, an elite level of patience, elite level, okay, of being scholarly in these scriptures, man. All right, even Elder Apostle Ka, he made the statement that we're the special forces, okay, in the scriptures, man. You see? And that's the standard, like I said, that the apostles and elders, you know, elder brothers, that's the standard that was set, you know, being elite, you know, in every way. Even how, you know, brothers tap into the, matter of fact, let's get a couple more precepts, then we'll get that. Okay? So you go here. Let's get this in Ecclesiastes. All right, this Ecclesiastes chapter 9 and verse 10. It said, whatsoever thy hand find to do it with thy might. For there is no work, nor device, nor knowledge, nor wisdom in the grave whither thou goest, man. So we set our hand to this ministry, man. Why not do it with all our might? Okay, why not get into the scriptures? Why not get into words? Why not get into, and everybody got their gift, but whatever it is, why not master it? You know? Why not become an expert in it? And you see, why not? Why not become elite? We're Israelites, we're sons of God, right? You know? Why not become elite at it, man? You see? Well, we not with YAHAWASHI creating everything. It's a chance we were. We don't know for sure. We're not delivered, okay? But it's a chance we were. He set us up to win. He allowed us to come into the ministry. He allowed us to be around, this great body of men, this network of brothers, all this wisdom and understanding, iron sharpening iron. So he set us up to win. He gave us the Holy Spirit where we can study on our own, read on our own, and get, revelations. And if it's something we don't know, we got a network of brothers to call, okay? So he put us in a position to win. So why not be elite, So when you go from there, let's get this. This is Sirach. Let's get this in Sirach 38. In order to become elite, time has to be given. That's where sacrifice come from. And like I say, we're those first fruits. The Lord requires more of a sacrifice than even the rest of the 130. We're those first fruit. He requires more of a sacrifice from us, man. He requires another level of commitment. Another level of consistency, discipline, patience. Okay, labor. Okay, and we go to Sirach 38 and 24. It said, the wisdom of a learned man cometh by opportunity of leisure, and he that have little business shall become wise. He that have little business shall become wise. So in order to become wise, man, hey, we began to clear the schedule as much as possible. We all got obligations, and it's a balance, because the one thing too, we become elite at being balanced. Understanding how to balance our situation, understanding our office, having discernment, understanding our gifts and what's required of us. And that comes from a relationship, and it comes from repetition, man. And it's through trial and error you find the balance, man, because you can be too far this way, and then you can be too far that way, and then you start, modifying it and finding that balance, man. Okay? But as we find a balance, we want to be elite in that, man, and we know we should have a spirit-heavy balance. Okay, whatever the balance is, hey, it should be heavy in the spirit, to where we have time to become wise, to become elite. You see, in every aspect that we can. We rehearsing the righteous acts, man, but we're rehearsing to be elite, and even when you go on the when you go to Sirach 30 and 15, it says. Oh yeah, Sirach 30 and 15 says, health and good estate of body are above all gold, and a strong body over infinite wealth. Because we know, bodily exercise profited little compared to the spirit, but it does profit. So, hey, brothers get into, the exercise and, the walking and, the calisthenics and, just, hey, brothers start investing in their body. And not doing it for the sake of vanity, to walk on the beach, but for the sake of, we understand that plays a part into our ministry, because you look at, being a nobleman didn't just, eat chicken and drink wine all day. Nah, man, these men, a lot of noblemen would be elite. They would be extremely fit and in shape, man. They did a lot of physical activity, particular high-born men. You see? So we know that just like a billionaire invests into his body, athletes invest into their body, well, we invest into our body because we serve YAHAWASHI. This nigga play for the Lakers. We serve YAHAWASHI, man. Should we not invest into our body? And a lot of things you can do for free. Okay? It's free to do push-ups. It's free to do sit-ups and calisthenics and, look, at-home workout, man. Consistency, stretching. You see, these things are free. You see, it don't cost you not invest $1 million into your body, man. But you can eat better and be active, man. Okay? And that just goes into being well-rounded, man. You see? And brothers' schedules are different, but, do what you can, man. Fight to be elite. It said, verse 16, it said, there is no riches above a sound body and no joy above the joy of the heart. Yeah, because a healthy body plays into a healthy mind. Healthy mind goes to a healthy spirit. You see, we want to be full circle, elite full circle. We can go into the scriptures You know, we take care of our body, take care of our health, our mental health as much as possible. We in hell, gonna be vexed, it's gonna be stressed, okay? But then the Lord gave us tools to combat these things, man. Not to just sit here and be pummeled by life, man. You know, and just sit here just because, you know, we know that the food is bad. That don't mean just let go, because you know stress come with, you know, this society. That doesn't mean just give in to it, man. Nah, man, hey, we can fight. You know, hey, just me speaking personally, man. Hey, we can fight these things, man. You know, hey, we ain't gotta just be here mopey and, you know, sad and depressed and feeling terrible and low energy, man. Hey, damn that, man. It's a better way, man. You see, in the Lord, you know, and He's allowing us to tap in. You know, because there's men that, and that's the thing about being in the body. There's men that are expert in these things. You know, I know Elder Hobb was the one that first put me on the herbs, and then you know El Canuck. You know, you see, and we have access to these men. You know, to where we can tap in. You know, you pull up on the brother. I know, went to Orlando. Brothers gave me, you know, sea moss, you know, tinctures, and you know, and just building, man. You know, elite men. Hey, we becoming elite, man. You know, so even when you go here, because this says a physical health, you know, mental health, man. You know, because this society is full of people stressed out and depressed, man. Which, the joy we got from prophecy, man, should start to override any type of anxiety or depression, man. You know, and us becoming like YAHAWASHI, man. Hey, there's joy within itself. Us being able to serve YAHAWASHI. Then the Lord showed that He be dealing, man. You see. Damn being depressed, man. Damn that, man. You know? Damn being depressed, damn being sad, you know, frustrated all the time. With these things come, man. But hey, I refuse to stay like that, man. I refuse to live like that, man. Nah, man, Yahweh doing, hey, it's too much goodness from Yahweh Shai happening, man. Okay, this place is done. These people are finished, man. Okay? And we're tapping back into our power, man. It's a Rock 30, and I started 21. Yep, it said, "Give not over thy mind to heaviness, and afflict not thyself in thy own counsel," man. You see, so we shouldn't be here stressing about things we can't change. Okay, having all these expectations in this world and being disappointed. You know, playing the victim, want to be the victim. Nah, man, damn that. It ain't gonna be fair. All right, ain't nobody gonna appreciate nothing but the people not gonna appreciate. You're not gonna be appreciated. Okay, there'll never be enough. You're not gonna make these people happy. Okay, you see, you can throw that out the window. But Yahweh Shai show His appreciation all the time. Stop looking for appreciation and peace in this world. Nah, man, that come from Yahweh Shai, man. You see. These people are not there. It's never going to be enough, man. No matter what you do, it'll never be enough. You're not going to be appreciated, man. All right? That's why, hey, I'm choosing myself. Okay? When I choose myself, that's choosing Yahweh. And for those that are truly into Yahweh, hey, it's going to benefit them. Those who is meant to benefit is going to benefit, man. Okay? If they're offended, okay, you become a villain because you ain't into what they into. You don't take that shit serious like they. So what, man? Okay, we past that now, man. Okay, we becoming elite, man. Okay, don't be bogged down with this low frequency vanity of this world, man. You know, you vibrate on the high frequency with your Yahweh Shai, man. And that goes from the body, mind, and spirit, man. Beginning with the spirit. Okay, it says 32, it said, "The gladness of the heart is the life of man, and the joyfulness of a man prolong his days." And this is not saying being here just smiling 24/7, man. But man, there's nothing wrong with being in good spirits, man. You know, being a prophet don't mean that you have to be depressed, angry, and moping. Okay, because I hate this world, man. But I'm not depressed or saddened by this world, man. You see, because I'm into what Yahweh Shai doing. You know, Yahweh Shai dealing. You know, hey, he's showing, you know, that He's pleased. He's showing that he pleased with the body, man. Look how the way that the prophecy is going. That's the Lord showing that he's pleased with the body, man. Keep going. You know, brothers is pleasing to YAHAWASHI, man. And that don't mean get comfortable, content. No, we finna double down. We finna load up. Finna put more pressure on this nigga Esau, man. Esau losing and the Lord embarrassing this nigga in front of us, man. Okay, we're becoming the real, the new. We're becoming the new elites of the world. Okay, before we even get the, before it's revealed to the world, we should be moving and living like that before we even reveal. We should be living like elites before, okay, the perks and the rank and the power and the status. Nah, man, we moving like elites now. Okay, and it says, love thy own soul and comfort thy heart. Remove sorrow far from thee, for sorrow have killed many, and there is no profit therein, man. There's no profit therein. Remove sorrow, man. Anything that's vexing that you can do away with, anybody that's negative and always, stay away from negativity as much as possible, man. Stay away from gaslighting, people making it seem like you're nothing but a constant dissatisfaction, or you're not good enough, or they want you got to modify yourself to. Nah, man, we only modify for YAHAWASHI. We're becoming for elite for YAHAWASHI. That's it, man. Point blank, period. That's it. Okay? We on to something else. You see, we are on to something else, man. That's becoming elite for YAHAWASHI, man. So that's the point. Lord will, you brothers, all right, and you few sisters edified. Once again, I'm gonna give all praise and glory unto Yahweh, Bahashem, YAHAWASHI, Bahashem, Rakakwadash, and double honors unto the apostles and the elders of GMS who rule well, teach well, being great examples towards younger brothers, and peace and blessings, salutations to the hopeful elect. Shalom.